This is a detailed review of the home market performance for 4 east counties in North Texas. Those will be Hunt County, Kaufman County, Henderson County, and Navarro County. As typically, we start with median sale prices for those counties to see how they are holding up on price. From this graph, so we have Hunt is in blue and Kaufman is in red, Henderson green, and then Navarro is dark gray. As we can see from this graph, what we're seeing, this is 2023, 22, 23, 24. So the 2025 piece is right here. I know there is not a lot to look at, but we only just started the year. So if we look at January of 2025, we see that, for example, Henderson County light green, it was flat or slightly up compared to the previous months. At the same time, Kaufman County was up in January. So December sales must have been good for these two counties. So it looks to me that there are two counties that kind of mirror each other behavior to a T, and those are Navarro County and Hunt County, the blue and the gray. As you can see, the blue and the gray, they really mirror each other's performance. And then Kaufman County and Henderson County also mirror each other's performance. Only Henderson County declines faster than Kaufman County. So from that standpoint, I see no significant bump in activity for any of them, but there is slightly noticeable bump in prices for all counties except for Henderson. Henderson is the only one that declined during the January/February transition months. The pricing for these counties throughout the last 2 years have been extremely up and down, making it harder for me to look at the data from the past and try to project it into the upcoming months to see what's going to happen. But if we take, for example, performance for January of 2024 versus performance for February of 2024, I think we're observing the same process right now. There was a slight uptick between these 2 months for almost all counties except for Kaufman. Kaufman was the only one with declining value at that time. By the way, Kaufman did not perform quite so hot during this period. So if we take a look at Kaufman, it's performing steadily. It has fewer sharp ups and downs than compared to Henderson, for example. But its performance, so this is 2022, the peak, declines slightly in 2023, continues to decline slightly or staying stable for 2024, and then declines again in 2025. So Kaufman has been actually kind of declining slightly. Hunt County, on the other hand, it had more significant ups and downs, but compared to 2022, it lost very little value and in some cases even surpassed the average price values for 2022 in some months. We do see a decline for it, but I guess the benefit of having higher ups is that, or the upside of having higher ups is that you also have more steep downs to go to. But overall, Hunt County, I think, is a very interesting county to invest in case you're interested in investing in the east part of the DFW. And then let's look at the performance of Henderson. So Henderson was staying fairly flat since November, and then it nosedived in February. But I know Henderson, a lot of it is a lake territory, and it's just possible that the lake houses are not as hot during the winter. And then, okay, average performance on price, but an encouraging performance. So even though we don't see sharp decline, the very fact that we do have a decline is already an encouraging situation. Okay, let's review, not price per square foot, but days in the market. So days in the market tells us how long the property will likely sit before it is sold. So you can adjust your holding time, those of you who are planning to flip. And as we can see right now, Henderson County is definitely in a lead here with homes waiting on average 100 days to go under contract. So if you're purchasing a flip in Henderson County, my recommendation is to just make sure that you calculate a 3 to 4 months hold time into your calculations of what the ARV should be, or what your offer should be on a property. So the Henderson County is at 100 days in the market on average. Navarro County is at 78 days in the market. Kaufman and Hunt are sharing third place with 64 days on the market. As you can see, the days in the market continue to increase since maybe the beginning of the last year. No, last year they were actually higher in some cases. But anyhow, days in the market continue to be all over the map. Therefore, whenever you're calculating your expenses to see whether or not you're making any profit, please make sure to calculate 3 to 4 months of holding time. Percentage of original price. Let's look at our price cuts. So the way that you would read this graph is if the graphs were touching 100 right here, that would tell me that the owners are receiving full offers on their properties, and then anything below 100 is actually a concession. So in this particular case, we have sellers in Hunt County receiving about 95% of their initial asking price, Kaufman County 94, Henderson 93, and Navarro 93. That tells me, so how should you understand this data? How should you apply this data? So let's just say that you're purchasing a property in Navarro County or in Henderson County, and you calculate your ARV, and you calculate your rehab and your holding costs. When people calculate their holding costs, I think they're being slightly unrealistic in this day and age about what their holding costs are going to be. But also, as you're holding the property, you will probably be forced to cut your prices, right? Because if you just keep holding the property for 150 days without changing the price, the buyers will just assume that you're not right in your mind. They will say, why would this person not lower the price already? So you have to kind of understand that long days in the market create negative perception of your property. I have a special video just on that, by the way. In this particular case, I would say that those of you who are flipping for a living or planning to flip here, I would recommend taking your ARV, whatever ARV that you calculated, and then deducting 4% of that ARV from your, like, take ARV minus, let's just say, whatever is the 95% of, sorry, I mixed it up. But anyhow, so you need to understand that your take home might be 5 to 7% below what you planned. Because when you put your property in the market, you might have to cut your prices several times. Let's assume that you cut your prices by 0.5% every single time. If you cut it by 0.5%, some of you will have to wait like 4 to 5 months and 4 to 5 price cuts, or maybe even 6 to 7 price cuts before the buyers will actually send you a written offer. So just assume that price cuts will be necessary in order for you to sell the property, and then calculate it into your holding costs. So this way you're realistic about your potential profits. Months of supply. Months of supply just shows how many unsold homes are there over or compared to sold homes in calculation to the ratio. Unsold homes divided by sold homes becomes months of supply. So we can see that, and anything above 3, when you have months of supply above 3 is still within the seller market. 3 to 4 is balanced market. Anything above 4 is definitely a buyer's market. So what we can see here is that all of these counties are in a buyer's market at this moment. It's just different degrees in which they're in a buyer's market. The worst county for being in a buyer's market, where the sellers have the least leverage over the buyers, is Henderson. They're at 8 months of inventory, which means that if everybody stopped putting more homes on the market and froze the supply for a moment at the pace of sales that Henderson County is going, people would have to wait 8 months before their house is sold. So that's bad. even with no new competitors coming on the market, you still have almost like 2/3 of a year before you can hope to sell. That's not good. That's just a bad, because then your money are stuck, right? So you flip the house, you invested your money, your cash is sunk in, but how quickly will you be able to free up that cash based on these numbers? Not immediately, definitely not immediately. And what if you're holding, those are just averages. What if you're holding costs or holding, yeah, you need to understand that if you're holding a property for 8 months, what's happening with your loan in the meantime? You're paying almost full year of taxes, etc. So your costs are just accumulating. The best one of the bunch in here is Hunt County with 5.6. 5.6 is pretty much a buyer's territory, but not nearly as bad as 8 or 7. Homes for sale. Let's take a look. Okay, so during the holidays, just you see this little dip right here, happens every year. But during the holidays, people just decided they're going to take their property off the market, wait out during the kids being, with grandparents at their houses, preparing Halloweens and Christmases and Thanksgiving decorations. So during that time, the number of homes for sale typically declines due to people canceling their listings. As you can see, this is exactly what happened in December. And then we see a pretty good increase in new listings since January. So this graph just tells us that those people that took the properties of the MLS to spend a good time with their grandkids, they're back, baby. They're back, and they want their house sold, and they're being aggressive about it. So as you can see, this very sharp increase in number of homes for sale just indicates to me that probably whatever we lost here, we just regained over here, and the market is back to being very saturated. And then last but not least, those are closed sales. So if these numbers right here were indicating the supply part of the equation, these numbers right here are showing us the demand part of the equation, how many buyers actually completed their sales. What we can see here is that compared to 2022, the number of buyers that have been shopping or that have been closing, not shopping is different, but closing, number of buyers who are closing on homes in these 4 counties has been declining. Not terribly noticeable, but declining a little bit. So if the peak number of homes sold in 1 month was in August of 2022, and that number stood at about, let's just say for Kaufman County, 191 homes. Then at the same time, August of 2024, Kaufman County sold 169 compared to 237. So I'm sorry, Kaufman County was 237, 169. So they lost quite a bit, and it's the same season. So the loss of 100, closings for that county is definitely noticeable. Now, what you notice is that in most cases, like Hunt County and Kaufman County, kind of mirror each other a little bit in terms of their performance. And then Henderson County and Navarro County also mirror each other a little bit, but differently. So we can see that the lowest number of closings is in Navarro County, 21 closing, Henderson County 32, Kaufman 95, which is pretty low for a county with so many homes for sale. And then Hunt County is 71. That concludes our review of the overall market for the Kaufman, Hunt, Henderson, and Navarro counties in North Texas. Based on this overview, I would say that as of right now, if I had to involve myself in flips in these 4 counties, I would have waited. I would waited until summer and to see what's going to happen, because as of right now, some of the indicators are not that great, from the holding time to the price cuts to the lackluster number of closed sales. It's just potentially you would be stuck with an unsold home for a while and have maybe even lose your money. I would maybe even redirect you to invest your money into Dallas proper, the DFW proper, or west of Dallas into Parker and Johnson County, maybe. Anyhow, my name is Elena Garrett, and I'm a realtor with Keller Williams Central 75 in the Dallas-Fort Worth area of Texas. If you like this calculation, and I'm sorry it was a little bit rambling, my apologies about that. But if you like this analysis right here and you're planning to either buy a house or sell a house in a specific area, run that area by me. I'm always glad to perform analysis, not as in-depth, but at least some analysis of the performance of that zip code in that neighborhood too, so you could see whether or not the mathematics of the deal will be affected by price cuts, days on market, months of supply, and other beautiful things. Alrighty, I think I overstayed my welcome in this video. My name is Elena Garrett, and I will see you guys at the next video.